Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Let me apologize in advance for my voice. I have a bit of a cold, which is why I didn't release a video last week. In general, I don't know how often I'll be able to upload in the future because I start a new job on Monday. There'll definitely be a settling in period and everything, so it might be a little bit irregular until things settle more into a basic kind of routine. But I'm filming today to share a milestone in my orchid journey, and I'm super happy to share it with you, which is my very first rebloom. There we go. It's what's labeled as the, let me just take this out and show you here. It's labeled as the LBL Golden Peacke, which is a bit of a weird name, but I'm pretty sure, and that's why I bought it, that it's the Procatavola Golden Peacock. This orchid was actually a gift from some of my friends. They gave me an orchid fund to buy the orchids I like, and this was one of them. It was put on my wishlist previously when I saw him bloom on Miss Orchid Girls videos. And this was the very first Cattleya that I saw that I thought I would actually want to own. I tend not to really be that fond of those really frilly kinds of Cattleyas. Although I understand the allure for other people, but they're just really not my thing. They seem a little bit old-fashioned almost to me. But this one was all streamlined and sturdy looking, which is much more my thing. I am totally pleased with this rebloom. It has a beautiful golden color that I tend to like. It's modern looking kind of, you know, and it has these spots on the lip that stop it from being boring and makes it more interesting. The only thing I'm missing really is a fragrance. I haven't detected any so far, but then again, I have a cold. It might be that there's something there and I just can't smell it at the moment. Someone told me that because of its parentage, it really should have a scent, most likely. But nothing so far. But yeah, even if it doesn't have any fragrance whatsoever, even if it doesn't develop any sort of fragrance, I'm still super pleased with the blooms. So this is definitely one to stay in my collection. I mean, obviously, it's my first rebloom. I'm not getting rid of this one, am I? It's like a milestone orchid. But yeah, I'm just very pleased with it. I actually expected my first rebloom to be earlier on one of my no ID falls when they began to spike. Let me show it to you now. There we go, that's the no ID fall that started to spike. And I was obviously very excited when this spike began because, well, that means flowers, right? But then something a little bit odd happened. The spike began to grow something weird and it definitely did not look like a bud. And then it kind of like made this weird terminal spike cakey. Like it's really at the very end of the flower spike. Here, let me show you. See, the flower spike literally ends at the cakey. And this is little rootlets starting here now, which is quite nice. But yeah, that meant no blooms because there is just a cakey and literally nothing else. So that was a bit of a fake out, and I was very excited when it started out, and then a little bit disappointed, especially because this is one of those IKEA Phalaenopsis that I'm not overly attached to. It was one that I got like at the very beginning when I just discovered orchids, and I just wanted more orchids, regardless of how much I like them. And this one I got literally just because the leaves were spotty, and that was interesting to me. So I definitely don't need a second one, but I have one now. It's right here, and you know, at least if it grows big enough to flower, and this one flowers as well at the same time, then that will be a really nice and unique display, right? So I console myself with that idea. That was when I first thought I was going to get a rebloom, and that turned out to be not the case. But then there was a second plant that started to spike. Ta-da! My Oncidium Twinkle, which is supposed to have kind of like orangey reddish flowers. Like I said, I like oranges. And first I just saw it develop this spike here, and I was like over the moon because I was like, ooh, there'll be flowers after all, I'm going to rebloom my first orchid. And then someone told me that apparently twinkles can take literal ages to develop flower spikes, sometimes even up to half a year. So then I resigned myself to the idea that I'm not going to reflower anything anytime soon because, well, as you can see, there aren't even any buds yet. Here, I'll see if I can show it to you a little bit more clearly. There. See, there's no buds yet. There's just the nodes. So it's gonna be a while before this one flowers. So I resigned myself to the fact my rebloom would have to take quite a while. And then I went to the Netherlands a few weeks ago, which is when I made that video about how to maintain your orchids when you're away for summer holiday. And I came back and suddenly I saw buds on my Cattleya type. They were actually trapped in the sheath. And I'll see if I can bring you closer to show you what that means. So you can see here that this here was the sheath in which it was trapped. And to release them, I kind of just cut it open. And then the buds kind of like jumped out of it. And I was lucky, the flower spike wasn't damaged in any way. And you can see there's still this kind of odd wrinkling from being trapped over here. But it was like kind of like in an N shape almost. It was like really, really bent. But it straightened itself out over the next 2 days, and it seems to have bloomed afterwards without an issue. So all's well that ends well. So I got from class to Orchidea back in January. When I first got it, it was developing this growth here, which you can see it didn't get as large as the previous 2 growths. It was quite set back because, of course, it's in a new environment in my home in Switzerland, south of the Netherlands. And it was also getting used to a new medium because I put in self-watering leca. But then the next growth, which has developed over the last 3 months or so, was this one. And you can see it's substantially larger, even larger than the growth that it had before it came to me. See, this one's even larger than this one here. So, yeah, apparently the plant then decided it had gathered enough energy to actually bloom. And it gave me these 2 lovely blooms with one more bud over here on the way. So hopefully 3 blooms at the same time soon. And this is really great because it also lets me know my light levels are high enough. I don't use any artificial lighting, and I wasn't sure whether my east-facing window, which is a pretty large window, would give me enough light for a cattleya, like a highlight orchid like cattleya, to actually flower. But it looks like I can stop worrying about that for now at least. Thank you for stopping by for me to share my success with you, and I'm certainly hooked by the hobby now and look forward to all future reblooms, of which I'm sure there are many more to come. So see you next time. Bye!